I can't wait to take you on the journey and show you turning a dog that has had an awful start in life, a dog that has a terrible reputation for being a dangerous, aggressive and reactive dog, to one that becomes a perfect role model dog that will help change the behaviour and lives of so many other dogs and their owners. Welcome back to Fenrir Canine Training, and we're just wrapping up an obedience session with Puppy here. Now, if you've not been following along for the journey, you might not be aware that Puppy was a puppy that I fostered. She had a terrible start to life. Then when she came to me being fostered, because her parents were involved in a legal situation, the kennel that she was in is where she was born. She couldn't leave my farm whilst that legal investigation played out. So it meant that she had no socialisation. We thought we'd lost the case, so Puppy had to go back for a bit of time. And then eventually we kept fighting and we were able to have her now officially be my dog. And I wanted to train her up to be my next role model dog. In my role as a canine behaviourist, I like to have role model dogs that I can bring with me to working on the cases of extreme behaviour modification or behaviour intervention. And I want to show you that even with a dog that has these mix of breeds that people believe are dangerous, unsafe or aggressive, even with a dog that had a terrible start to life like Puppy did, you can still have a perfect canine companion. So we've been taking you along for that process, and we are now coming to the end of our first month of boot camp. And I wanted to talk about what we've been able to achieve and what you could expect to achieve with a month of going through a boot camp process with your dog. So the first thing I wanted to focus on with Puppy was our relationship and her looking up to me as her calm, consistent leader. Unfortunately, when she had to go back from me, she spent some time away from me. Obviously going back to a kennel or a shelter is never ideal for a dog, and then she came back to me again, and there was definitely some confusion, some anxiety, some fear, and obviously lack of consistency that came with that process. So my main focus of the boot camp was getting our relationship back, getting to the point where she trusts in me again as her calm, consistent leader. And I'm super excited to say that that took nowhere near as long as I was expecting it to. Within the first week, we were back to a rock solid relationship of her looking up to me for guidance and direction when I needed it, her trusting in my calm, consistent leadership. So let's talk about the obedience that we were able to achieve with Puppy. Now, as you can probably tell, her heel walking is absolutely beautiful. Now, for me personally, I'm not interested in competition levels of heel where her head is constantly glued to my hip, always looking up to me and trotting on her front two paws. The guys that are able to do that level of heel and obedience, wonderful. But from what I need from my dog, all I want for her is to be on my left-hand side, on a nice loose lead, making this experience of us going out and walking a nice and enjoyable one. We were also able to get her crate training back to where it was, where she loves being in her crate. She wants to be in a crate, she's happy to be in a crate, and she's quiet, calm and content when she's in a crate. What that means is that we're able to leave her alone for extended periods of time without having to worry. And it also means that she's not then displaying any destructive behaviours, because if she's in a crate, she can't destroy things, which is one of the reasons that I advocate crate training so much. Now, last but not least, we were also working on recall. Now, recall is one of those things that takes a little bit longer. For me, recall naturally coincides with lots of socialisation. So we'll talk about socialisation in a minute, but as we've been increasing socialisation, desensitising triggers, it's meant that her recall has been going through the roof. Our recall isn't absolutely perfect yet, but it's definitely getting there. And unless there's some extremely high levels of distraction, and for Puppy in particular, those distractions tend to be more around prey drive. So prey animals are something that she can just start to lose her distraction levels. But other than that, her recall is absolutely wonderful. So we've done incredible crate training. Her heel walking is glorious. Her recall is pretty much perfect. But we're going to talk about where we're going to take that to get it to beyond perfect shortly, which then will take us naturally onto the levels of socialisation that we were able to do. I knew we'd be able to get heel looking really nice. I knew we'd be able to get our recall to high levels, even with all the mental negative connotations she has around confinements and crates. I was confident that we were going to be able to get crate training excellent. What I didn't know was how well socialisation would go. It was always going to go well, but with socialisation, there's so many variables, and with every dog being different, you have to be able to roll with it. Socialisation, I'm pleased to say, has also been going fantastically. With her never leaving the shelter, and then when I was able to foster her not being allowed to leave my farm, I presumed that towns and cities would be something that she'd really struggle with, whereas actually she's been brilliant in towns and cities. We've put especially high levels of work in with things that would be deemed as kind of prey animals, so geese, sheep, chickens, various different birds, and that's been going absolutely incredibly, which has allowed us to desensitize those triggers, which then allows her to remain focused and looking up to me for guidance and direction. So socialization is of the utmost importance, and we've done a combination of real world socialization and my new socialization methodology of when she's been in her crate, I've been playing our socialization course to her, and that has made a wonderful impact, which has allowed this process to go much faster than I was expecting, which then naturally takes us to what's next. Well, we're going to be continuing with that socialization. Socialization is something that never ends. We were able to re-establish our relationship very quickly. That is something that also never ends. We always need to be working on being calm, consistent leaders and having our dogs feeling comfortable looking up to us for guidance and direction. With obedience, we're going to take recall to the next level by doing a positive e-column mastery. And that'll be the next thing that we're going to be able to take you along on the journey for, to be able to have perfect recall, no matter what's going on around us, up to half a mile off in the distance, completely silently and completely positively, without ever having to use any harsh physical corrections. Then we're also going to be leveling up and starting to introduce her into my behavior modification work, which is going to be something that will be incredibly exciting and something that I'm incredibly excited to take you along on the journey for. So if you're having a similar situation where you want to get your dog to be able to get to high levels of success, a dog that's never been socialized, that has a dog staring at it from the gate right there, yet is remaining on a loose lead and is being quiet, well-mannered and not being reactive, then I suggest we've got a few different things that you can check out and be able to follow the same process exactly that I've been doing with Puppy. I 100% practice what I preach. The boot camp is something that you can follow along with, but don't worry, we've got a completely free introduction called our 3 Principles to Canine Behavior. I have been doing the 7 days to perfect heel walking with her, which is why she walks so beautifully on a loose lead. That is something that you can do at home. We have our 7 days to perfect crate training. That's also something that you can follow along with at home. And we have our 7 days to recall, which again is something that you can absolutely be following along with at home. The next area that I think can be incredibly helpful for so many of you is our new socialization methodology. I understand that you're incredibly busy and life gets in the way of being able to provide high levels of socialization. And that is exactly why I created that brand new methodology to allow you to do incredible levels of socialization whilst you're not even there. When you go to work, you can leave your dog at home being socialized with 30 different 8-hour-long socialization classes that I created and designed myself. But again, like the boot camp, if you're unsure, we've got a completely free version that you can check out as well. All of those will be linked down in the description box below. All of those incredibly exciting new videos are coming, all of which I can't wait to take you on the journey and show you turning a dog that has had an awful start in life, a dog that has a terrible reputation for being a dangerous, aggressive and reactive dog, to one that becomes a perfect role model dog that will help change the behavior and lives of so many other dogs and their owners. So I hope you enjoyed this process. I hope you enjoyed this series. If you did, please give it a like. Remember, if you're new, to subscribe, because I can't wait for me and Puppy here to take you along on that journey. Come on.